Hello and welcome you all my dear students of FYBCom on this lecture of Business Environment and Entrepreneurship 1. In the earlier session, we have studied the various causes of pollution and remedies of pollution protecting natural element, and today we are going to discuss general remedies for protecting natural environment. After that, we will see the concept, advantages and disadvantages of environmental mitigation. Further, we will see how to conserve the natural resources. Then we will study the concept of sustainable development, and lastly we will discuss the career opportunities in environmental science. Now let us see the general remedies for protecting natural environment. Friends, as we had discussed, natural environment encompasses all living and non-living things occurring naturally on earth or some region thereof. It is an environment that encompasses the interaction of all living species. There are number of ways we can help protect the environment in our everyday life. Some things we can do to reduce waste, conserve energy and prevent pollution. These remedies are: first is use reusable products or borrow, rent or share items used infrequently. Second is select products made from recycled materials or designed to be safer for the environment. Third is turn off appliances and lights when not required. Next is normally take public transportation instead of driving. Next is turn off thermostat down in winter and up in the summer. Next, remedies for protecting natural environment that ensure sustainable and equitable use of resources without degrading the environment or risking health or safety. Next remedy is use eco-friendly resources. Next is promote individual and community participation. Next is raise awareness and understanding of the link between environment and development. And last remedy for protecting natural environment is efforts should be made to cut down our energy use. Now let us see the environmental mitigation. Friends, environmental mitigation is the implementation of measures to reduce the undesirable effects of a proposed action on the environment. Environmental mitigation activities means strategies, policies, programs, actions and activities that over time will serve to avoid, minimize or compensate for the impact to or disruption of elements of the human and natural environment associated with the implementation of a long range statewide transportation plan or metropolitan transportation plan. There are some advantages and disadvantages of environmental mitigation. So the first advantage is development friendly. Friends, mitigation is more development friendly alternative to strict environmental laws because it allows development to occur when environmental laws might prohibit it. Next advantage is targets ecological value. Mitigation has the potential to save and restore the most valuable environmental resources at the least cost, assuming the regulation. Next is benefit to landowners. Land previously unused or impractical for development is given greater monetary value under a mitigation system. For example, land in flood plains may be impractical for commercial or residential development but conducive for mitigation activities, land in rural areas with very little potential for growth are more valuable where given the opportunity to be used for mitigation. Next advantage is cost burden. Friends, mitigation system place the environmental cost of development mostly on the individuals or entities that are impacting the environment. Without environmental mitigation, cost of alleviating environmental damage caused by development could be placed in the hands of government, which would in turn pass cost on to the taxpayers not responsible for environmental impacts. Now let us see the disadvantages of environmental mitigation. So the first disadvantage is effects on land, cost and availability. Friends, mitigation could be seen as contributing to the increasing cost of land because some mitigation work requires that large amounts of land be purchased or put into conservation easements. Mitigation can therefore compete with other rural land use such as agriculture and residential development. This suggests that landowners must be alert to find the highest and best use for their properties given the potential market value that mitigation credit represent. Next disadvantage is incorrect allocation and valuation of credits and debits. Mitigation regulations may not properly take into account the total ecological losses and gains associated with environmental impacts or mitigation when allocating debits and credits. As we know that governing bodies are primarily responsible for prescribing the ecological criteria required to attain credits for mitigation. They are also responsible for valuation of credit. Therefore, it is evident that problems with the allocation and valuation of credits and debits might stem from the complexity of assessing the current comparative value of ecological resources, ecosystem change over time and a lack of understanding about what is beneficial or harmful to the environment overall. And last advantage is in perpetuity commitment for land. Commitment of land to compensating mitigation must be done in perpetuity, meaning permanently into the future. Otherwise, the long-term public interest could not be served via compensatory mitigation programs. This means that properties must continue to be managed with ecosystem valued in mind, sometimes preventing landowners from transforming the landscape to meet changing needs. For example, future large-scale development projects would not likely be permitted or previously dedicated mitigation properties. Now let us see conservation of natural resources. Friends, natural resources are resources that exist without action of humankind. This includes all valued characteristics such as magnetic, gravitational, electric properties and forces. On our earth, it includes sunlight, atmosphere, water, land along with all vegetation, crops and animal life that naturally subsist upon or within the identified characteristics and substances. Natural resource management is a discipline in the management of natural resources such as land, water, soil, plants and animals with a particular focus on how management affects quality of life for present and future generation. Hence, sustainable development is followed according to the judicial use of resources to supply both the present and future generation. Management of natural resources involves identifying who has the right to use the resources and who does not, for defining the boundaries of the resources. The resources are managed by the users according to the rules governing of when and how the resource is used depending on local condition. Now let us see the principles of natural resources conservation. There are two principles for conservation of natural resources. First is absolute conservation and second is relative conservation. So the conservation of natural resources need to be viewed with the conservation and utilization of natural resources. Absolute conservation encompasses the quantity and quality of natural resources such as air, water, land, forest, animal, minerals without their declination. Absolute conservation in the thinking that natural resources should be used without their utilization. Human being, including other living beings, cannot stop use of natural resources. Absolute conservation is the concept that natural resources should be maintained without any disturbance in the condition in which they exist in the nature. Some are the major objectives of absolute conservation of natural resources are to work with close coordination with nature. Next objective of absolute conservation is not to work against nature. Next is to interfere with non-human species only to meet basic needs. Next is to minimize wastage of resources. And last objective of absolute conservation is to protect environment from degradation while using the nature. Second, another principle of conservation is relative conservation. This approach of natural resources conservation emphasizes on the need of integration of conservation program while using the resources, reuse, recycling and minimum use of the non-renewable resources like coal, fuel and minerals help in their conservation. Plant resources can conserve by making a certain provision of their utilization in limited quantity. Now let us see conservational use of natural resources. Natural resources are essential is very step of our life. We already know about it. It is very difficult to imagine in life in the absence of these resources. The way that we exploit these resources along with conservation is its proper utilization. Conservational use of natural resources refers to the utilization of natural resources in such a way that includes consumption as well as conservation. The concept of conservational use incorporates some principles. First is maximum use of perpetual resources. Second principle of conservational use of natural resources is maximum production of renewable resources. Next is minimum utilization of non-renewable resources. And last is reuse and recycle of non-renewable resources. Friends, these four principles or concept is biased on the principle of sustainable development, which means to prolong the effects of development to distinct future. It also helps to preserve flora and fauna. We can conclude that the primary focus of natural resources must be of maintaining the health of the natural world, its fisheries, habitats and biological diversity. Its secondary focus is on material conservation including non-renewable resources such as metals, minerals and fossil fuels, and energy conservation, which is important to protect the natural world. Now let us see, or we can understand the concept of sustainable development. Friends, the term sustainable development first came into prominence in the World Conservation Strategy presented in 1980 by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature and Natural Resources. It was defined clearly in the Brundtland Report Our Common Future 1987 in the following words: They said that sustainable development seeks to meet the needs and aspirations of the present without compromising the ability to future generation to meet their own needs. So the sustainable development could be achieved only if the environment is conserved and improved. Moreover, a development path is sustainable if and only if the stock of overall capital assets remains constant or rise over time. India is committed to pursue a course of sustainable development, and it is a party to several pertinent global and regional commitments. However, it largely lacks institutional mechanism required to maintain environment into the development process. So the sustainable development can be achieved only if the environment is conserved and improved. India needs to put in place transparent and participatory mechanism to assess the country's progress in implementing its commitments under these programmers and treaties. Now let's move on the last point, career opportunities in environmental science. An environmental science degree requires you with scientific background and key skills necessary for roles of career areas including conservation and sustainability. Jobs directly related to your degree includes some aspects. First is environmental consultant. Environmental consultant are normally employed by a consultancy firm and work on a range of commercial government contracts addressing to a variety of environmental issues. He is also responsible for ensuring that your client complies with environmental regulations. There are some types of environmental consultant like air, land and water contamination, like waste management and recycling, renewable energy opportunities, emissions and climate change, and environmental management system. Next opportunity is environmental education officer. Environmental education work involves making people aware of environmental issues, promoting conservation and sustainability, and enhancing public enjoyment of the investment. Next is environmental engineer. Friends, environmental engineers combine brilliant problem solving ability with scientific skills to create technological solutions which protect, restore and preserve the planet. There are some types of environmental engineering. So the first is water supply and sanitation. Next is infrastructure and development. Next is flood risk and drainage. Next is disposal of waste products such as water and plastic, particularly high volume plastic waste. And last is recovery and cleansing of land which has been damaged by mining, landfill or farming activities, etc. Next opportunity is environmental manager. Environmental manager is responsible for overseeing the environmental performance of private, public and voluntary sector organization. Their role involves examining corporate activities to determine where improvements could be made and ensuring compliance with environmental legislation across the organization. Next is marine biologist. Marine biology is the study of all aspects of life in the sea and the environment on which it depends. Marine biology is a broad ranging career. One can go into field work, academic research and laboratory work, consulting, charity, outreach or policy making. There are some types of marine biologists like marine policy expert, marine biotechnologist, environmental engineer, fishery data manager, oil spill response specialist, marine biology technician, reef restoration and project manager and marine ecologist, etc. Next opportunity in environmental science is nature conservation officer. Nature conservation officer work is to protect, manage and enhance the local environment. This can include grassland, woodland, forest, coastal areas, moorland, mountains and rivers. Next is recycling officer. Recycling officer role is to plan and develop environmental and waste reduction policies through the management of local recycling scheme. Next is sustainability consultant. This job involves to promote sustainable solutions for the often conflicting needs of people, the environment development and successful business. Next is water quality scientist. Water quality scientist is concerned with the safeguarding all aspects of water quality through scientific analysis and setting targets and standards for specific legislation. There are some types of water quality scientists like drinking water, groundwater, surface water. And last opportunity in environmental science is waste management officer. Friends, the role of waste management officer is to organize and manage waste disposal, collection and recycling facilities. He is also responsible for waste treatment and street cleaning operations. Besides the above all, there are other jobs which includes environmental health practitioner, estate manager, landscape architect, town planner, transport planner, geotechnical engineer, etc. So the above all are the opportunities that are associated with the environmental science. Now here we are going to stop this lecture. Thank you.